Hey there, I'm just kind of puttering around here and thought I'd turn my video on. I don't know if you ever run across any old book covers that you can't stop thinking about, you want to do something with, but I've been thinking about this book cover for a long time because I thought it was kind of cool. It was a Funk and Waggle standard dictionary, but pretty old, and I took the dictionary part out of it, and I've been wanting to make something out of it. So I will eventually cut this off and put some fabric on there and make a, I don't know, I'll have to decide after I'm done. I'm really kind of just winging it on this, how wide I want to make the spine. We'll see how many signatures I end up with. But I've been kind of puttering around. I don't really want to use coffee dyed papers in this one. I don't love coffee dyed paper. A little bit's fine, but for some reason I'm just not into it as much as some other people. But there's nothing wrong with that. But I did another video on printers and printing on colored paper, and I was using this colored paper that I had. I have a whole sheet of it. And so I thought, well, that's kind of nice. Maybe, because that kind of looks a little coffee dyed. Why don't I go ahead and use that as the paper for these signatures? So, and then I'd been estate sailing, and I ran across these watercolor books. Now these aren't real old, I don't think. I don't even remember. I probably saw the copyright when I first started tearing them apart. But they might be 80s, 90s, probably 90s or 2000. So they're not real old. But really pretty graphics, and you know, you pay a lot on some sites to get the things already cut out. So I already took most of that one out. But I've just been starting to cut little pieces out. And I thought, well, why don't I use these on my paper to make my little book. So that's what I've been doing, just different colors and putting things together. And then, since I'm not a great measurer, I tell you, I couldn't make a straight line if I tried. I've just been tearing it. So I just take the book cover and take the paper. Now see, this one I made a little small, and I just been tearing it and then inking the edges. I don't like using the little distress thing. These are just makeup sponges from the dollar store, and they work really good on inking things. And I just been inking the edges all around. I tried tea stain, Jim Holt's tea stain kind, but it made it look kind of yellowy. I think, let's see, I don't know if I've got the one that's got it on there, but the Vintage Photo is working out pretty good. So I just been taking the edges and kind of giving it that maybe coffee stain look, I don't know, that vintagey look, and then doing that. So look through real quick the ones I did, just a couple, and these aren't even in order. I'm not sure which order that I'll put them in, but, and there I did find a little bit of coffee stain paper that I pulled out that I'd done a long time ago, right there. And I've been using a little cheesecloth behind them and some fonts. This is some typing paper that I just came across recently. It was a lady in a lady's estate where she had typed out a bunch of recipes. And so, and then I made a little thing there. So see, I think it's going to be kind of cute. And then I used three stamps, put a flower in front of it on that one. So I'm just kind of inking some stuff and gluing some collages in the corner. And maybe eventually I'll have enough to make a whole book out of. We'll see. But I think I'll use some other papers too. Maybe I won't use these totally. I really like onion skin, So maybe I'll use, which is kind of see-through a little bit. I have some of that. So maybe I'll use some of that, and we'll see what we can do. Now, I can't only have this video to be 15 minutes because my recorder won't upload if it's any more than 15 minutes, so I might have to make it into 2. But in here, I just have little bits of things. Some music paper. I made a cutout of it. Just some scrap paper. Because on one of the pages here, I just tore different pieces of scrap paper. I actually put those two, this first one, together when I tore this page, and I tore them both at the same time so that it would run along the same way. And then that one I just tore independently and then glued them down. So, just things to put underneath the, some little stamps. I've got some little blue chip stamps and things so we can look through, and I gotta keep the little images kind of small because there's not a lot of space, and you can put them in different places. It doesn't all have to be just up there, but that's kind of cute. So, you know, you can even do this sitting in front of the TV at night, just kind of gluing stuff on there. And when you cut these out, you don't have to cut them all the way to the edge. I did this one, but you can leave a little white edge. It looks really nice too. And then you don't have to be so precise with them. So, and a lot of times you'll have to add a little bit more glue, especially when you're just using this stick glue. And these pages are a little glossy, so they don't want to. But there we go. Kind of like that. And then we go see what we do inside. These won't be seen on both sides unless it's right in the middle. So we can do all kinds of things in here. And just see which different ones I've got. Pick out the little ones. These are too big. These here are going to be too big, so we'll set these off to the side. Too big, too big. And then I have these in here. I was cutting out of these last night. I tried to cut some smaller things. So we'll look through here. There's a couple smaller ones. So we'll set that off to the side. So, ooh, I like this one with that color of paper. That's kind of nice, just by itself. And then you can also take a little pen and go around the edge too. You can take a color pencil. You can take a, I don't know, just all kinds of little pencils. Probably nothing too dark. You'd want something really light. But I think that's pretty. I wonder if we should make it a tuck. If I did a tuck, I would use my regular glue and just go around the edge like that. I think we'll try that first. I can always add more glue later on. And we can see if we want a little pocket there. Like so. There we go. Oops. I'll let that dry. So what I do is I just take a full sheet of paper, fold it in half, and I haven't even got the book ready yet, so I just take the front of the book. Well, first I tear off the bottom because I always want a crinkled end on the bottom. So I just tear off some amount on the bottom. Then I measure it like so, and I can see my book, so I make it a little bit less than what I think the top will be. Around here, you got to tear it the right way to get the right edge. So if you tear it back, it won't do this nice torn edge. Tear it like that. And then we tear it. The book comes out this far, so we take it about here. I want to do it actually a little bit less because as you start getting more into the signature, you have to make it a little smaller. So I want to do it just a little bit inside of there. And then we just tear it down. And don't worry about if it goes a little bit this way or that way. It'll all work out in the end. And there we have what we're going to create a page with. So some colored paper, and you could do stamping on there. You could do a lot of different things. So that's how I tear the paper so far. And if I do any other paper, I'm probably going to do the whole thing just tearing the paper, because it's working out. And this little idea, now see, I've lost my, how many times do you guys do this? I've lost my inker. Where did I set it? Okay, well, oh, there it is. Found it. There's not too many places to go. I'm in a small space here. So just ink these edges. I think you could put some fabric behind these. I've been trying to sew, but I am just not any good at sewing. My machine keeps messing up and all kinds of stuff, so I'm not going to end up being a sewer. Not sewing on paper. So, but I still will glue fabric on. I'll glue fabric all over the place. And I'll make handmade ruffles and put them on the, glue them down with some Fabri-Tac. And but yeah, sewing is not going to be in my future. I've finally decided to just let it go. It's just not meant to be with me. I mean, when I was a young girl, my grandmother was a upholsterer, and my mom was a sewer, and they were trying to get me to sew, and I had trouble with the bobbins and everything back then too. And I actually got one thing in class. They used to have sewing classes at school back then. I got one thing sewn all the way to the zipper, but the zipper defeated me. And after that, I gave up for years. So it's just not meant to be. I want something besides purple. I just had purple. I really like this red, but see, it's too big. So I wonder if I could, if I cut off a little bit of it somehow and make it smaller. But I'm going to have to stop this video or I will go over my 15 minutes. But I had another little thing I want to do. I want to make a bag for this too. So I'm going to do that in another second video here. And I'll be back with you. See you soon.